complex nature of human and non-human lives through their stories to imagine new worlds and new possibilities. So literature, like science or the social sciences, can be thought of as another way to grasp the complex nature of the world we live in. So in the simplest formulation, but really not so simple, it can be thought of as a unique kind of knowledge about the world. So literary works try to represent our world through language, through affect, or by trying to produce emotions, feelings, and moods in the writing and in readers through figurative language, because somehow literature, or should I say the writers, have always known that language is ambiguous. Words have multiple meanings, and the written or spoken word has different effects on readers over time and in different locations. So an extremely broad generalization would be to say that studying literature or doing literary criticism is a way to make judgments about the value of particular works and literature as a whole. So to make this judgment, we interpret, compare different works, engage in informal analysis, and make claims about aesthetic merit and formal qualities. We also argue about the work's cultural and historical importance. More specifically, when we study literature, we deep dive into texts, their language, and their context to understand, learn from, empathize, and find pleasure in the unique kind of knowledge, a literary knowledge that the writer has produced about the world. I feel that this literary knowledge is as valuable as any other. That is why we spend a lot of time with language and learn to interpret and read closely, because we want to know how something is said and why is it said the way it is, and what effect and affect it has on us as readers. Alongside interpretation, we also learn to think critically, because literature often raises questions about what we believe we know and forces us to reconsider. It shows us that our lives are not machine-like. It shows us that we are emotional beings who are not always rational. All language, and in turn literature, is also political, and it brings about change in the world for better or worse, and that is why we learn to pay attention to words and what they mean. So literature is essential to understanding the self too. By reading books written in the past and experiencing literature from different cultures, we not only learn about other beliefs and value systems, but also learn about who we are. It is only by engaging with language and literature from other times and different locations that we can reflect on and help create diverse identities within us and develop intercultural respect. To put it differently, literature from the past, the now, and from different parts of the world can become an instrument or a means for living in the present, so that we can imagine a more just and equal society. Of course, if you love books, then studying literature is worth it, because it'll teach you new ways to read and experience the text. But even if you do not always enjoy reading a story or a poem, studying literature can sharpen your critical thinking, promote creativity, let you develop a vocabulary to clearly articulate your concerns about important issues in the world, diversify your views, make you a better writer, and help develop respect for other people and their views. Okay, so that's basically my reasons for saying that literature is a very useful and a very good thing to actually engage in. So to kind of talk about it in terms of SSST more specifically, right? In SSST, you would be kind of reading literature in your own languages, right? And that basically means that you will have much more autonomy in the books you choose, in the way you design your course, in the way you kind of design your reading list. And I will obviously kind of be there to help you out, but most of it is going to be in your hands. So this is where I want to kind of bring in Dima. So Dima is a student from the second year, right? And I think he can kind of give you a quick idea of how this works in the first year. Okay, Dima, right? And then we will kind of clarify as many doubts as we can before we go on to a lesson. Any questions about that? If no,
okay. Hi guys, I'm
Dima.
okay. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, so hi guys, I'm Dilijan from Belarus, and I've been doing Belarus and self-taught course. And I would say that self-taught is all what you will see because it just shows the diversity of the college and to be in the class, in the classroom, where people are studying books all around the world in their languages. It's something really unique. Also, yeah, I would agree that self-taught is everything about self-management, and it's really important, and it will be useful to have all these skills in the future because, yeah, we have a lot of free time to read books, and we're kind of manager, and we have like deadlines to read like one word, do something else, but only you as a person can plan your day, your week, your month to finish a particular work. And I would say, yeah, that self-taught use like self-taught course really teach you to have the skills that will be useful for sure in your life.
Thank you, Dima. Thank you. And I think what Dima is saying is right in the sense it is kind of both about self-discipline because you actually kind of are responsible for designing your own course. And the first month, I'll just kind of Dima, correct me if I'm going wrong somewhere over here, right? In the first month, we spent time going through the SSST guide for the students, and also we try and kind of explain the process and work on it together so that we understand where we are going for the next 2 years. And then we also work on selecting books, right, which is an extremely important process. So you will be studying 9 works, right, which is going to be a combination of the different genres, so poetry, fiction, plays, etc. And also, once you select those works, I will be modeling at least one work for you. So we will kind of try and study one work in English, right? Where I will be telling you, or I will be working with you and showing you how we approach literary studies, right? And then you will take those skills and you will apply them to the works you are going to be reading by yourself, correct? Dima? Yeah, good. So that is good. So that is basically what the course is going to be. So it's going to be a course with a lot of autonomy, a lot of freedom to read whatever you want to read, and it's going to be a course where you can literally kind of design your schoolwork, right? Which itself is fascinating, right? I don't know if any one of you have ever had the chance to design your own schoolwork for 2 years, but this could be the first time. Question? Any questions about things as of now? Nope. Okay. How do I, so just to kind of, so when you ask a question or when you actually kind of speak, just put your camera on, right? So that I'm not just looking at an alphabet when I'm speaking, okay? Okay. Anything else which let's open it up for just some basic questions before we actually move on to the next part. Yeah.
We read books and we read books in our language, and do we know before what books we read? Like, can we see anywhere in like which books are in which language we will read?
Yes. So there is basically a collection of books which the IB has, right? Okay, and it's a very large collection. So that's basically what we'll be doing for the first 1 month, trying to kind of select which books you will be reading, right? So it's a prescribed reading list, okay? And it's a very large prescribed reading list, and we'll spend time selecting books as diversely as possible, okay? So the other key question is this, right? Once I've once you kind of select your books, I cannot read all your languages, right? Okay, so you'll be actually working with tutors. Okay, fine. So in the first year, the tutors would be a little hands-off, right? Okay, and the tutors will be used essentially to kind of grade your work. But in the second year, the tutors are going to be much more hands-on, right? So that's simply because you're going to be writing, you're going to be writing, say, essay, the paper 2. You're going to be kind of working with them on the orals, etc. Right? So does it make sense, Caroline? Yep. Okay. Good. Yeah.
I can you turn? Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it was with our tutor that we choose the list of books because yeah.
No. So you will choose. I will help you choose the list of books, right? So I will help you choose the list of books in the beginning, right? But you can kind of ask. You can ask your parents. You can ask your friends. You can ask your old teachers, right? Okay, for suggestions. Dima, chip in over here. How did you end up selecting your Belarusian books? Okay, he doesn't see. I'll ask him the question again. But the way we do it is that I will kind of help you broadly, and then if I don't know. So which language are you going to kind of work in?
What?
Really, which language?
Oh, French.
French, right? So I may not know everything about French literature, right? But you can ask your parents, you can ask your friends, you can ask your all the teachers about what kind of books you would like to kind of include, right?
Yeah. Well.
And then yeah.
Actually, my sister is a teacher of French
Right.
in the IB, and
Okay.
so she could be my tutor.
I mean, she could, yeah, totally, right? She could, right? But we'll have to kind of work it out. We'll have to work it out through the school, right?
Okay.
Okay, fine. Just let's go back to Dima. Dima, so can you explain how did you select the books, right? Who all did you ask about which authors to read and which authors not to read?
So I would say that first of all, out of 9 works, we need to read, if I'm not mistaken, 4 works in translation. It means that we're not reading only books written in your language, and it really gives you a chance to explore not only your language, not only your literature, but like literature all around the world. And also, I would say that all these works is flexible in terms of that we don't have only novels, maybe like we have in our school, but for example, I can study poetry, I can study different biographies. For example, I can study right now sonics, so it's like already really cool. And also you have a list over the year, and it's not that you need to have a particular list, but over time, if you change your mind, if you want to do something else, you can change the list and read something else.
Right. So what Dima is saying is that this list is kind of organic in a way, right? It's not set in stone completely. And also the way just to clarify, when Dima said that you'll be reading works in translation, so for example, if you're reading literature in French, then you will read works translated into French, right? So that book could have been written in some other language, but it needs to be translated into French, right? So you will still be reading in French, but it's a translated work. Makes sense? Yep. Okay. Any other clarification questions? Any other questions with regard to how this course works? And I mean, I will kind of go through the basics. I will go through all the specifics in the first 1 month of working with you, right? So that first 1 month is basically a time to understand how this works. Yeah.
Hi, yes.
Hi.
Maybe you said this already, but then I missed it. But do we have actual class, or how does that work?
Yes, so we will meet twice a week, right? Okay, fine. So the SSST class basically is only at the standard level, right? So the standard level meets twice a week. And in the beginning, the twice a week would be used to actually kind of model close reading, reading interpretations, reading the English book, working with understanding how the course works. And then as the months progress, that time will be used for you to do your own work, right? And I'll be there, right, to kind of help you with questions, help you with things you don't understand in terms of the the requirements of the IB, right? Okay, but a lot of that work you'll be doing yourself. So, for example, you will use a particular approach from the IB guidebook, right, to read your book. But I cannot understand what you're reading, right? So I can only help you with what that approach is. Okay. So I can kind of tell you that, okay, why don't you kind of go and look at context? Why don't you kind of look at, say, the location where the story is written, right, placed, right? And then kind of say something more about the location, right? Because that is what the IB wants you to look at, the location, for example, right? But you will go and do it yourself in your own language. So yeah, a lot of the classroom work would be you doing your own work and me hanging out and you talking to me, right? If you want to.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Good. What else? Okay. Yeah. Hi.
Hi. I wanted to ask whether there was some kind of a boundary or a limit on the minimum works that we have to read or maximum. How does that work?
It's a maximum of 9 works, right? Okay, so you'll basically read 9 works. And like Dima said, this is a combination of fiction and also non-fiction, right? Okay, fine. So you can read up to 9 works. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything else? Yeah.
So usually when do we choose our tutor? And so in my case, my sister asked to send you an email, and if there is an email, I can give.
So I will start working on, I mean, right now, in the sense, in the next 15, 20 days, right? Okay, so September, right, is the month where we decide on and finalize tutors for all of you, right? Okay, so you got to understand how it works, right? So I first need to know, I need to confirm how many of you are actually taking the course, right? And then I need to kind of, get in touch with the tutors, right? Ask them if they're willing to tutor, right? And then sign a contract and things like that, right? Okay. So yeah, so within the next, say, 1 month, right? You'll be put in touch with the tutor, right?
Okay, thank you.
Good. Okay, I had a question here. So, okay, this is something which, again, Dima, I'm going to kind of turn to Dima for this, right? Are we going to be reading only books or some texts?
So as I said, you have a chance to choose words yourself, and we have a list of authors. And from these authors, you need to choose like one particular and just choose a particular work. For example, if you have, I don't know, like a particular author, you can choose his or her work as you want. And it means that you can read novels, you can read poetry, you can read like whatever you want. You just have a pretty wide, I would say pretty wide list of authors in your language, in many other languages, and you can choose what you want to read. There are limit for example, you need to read, like, as I know, 2 works of poetry, right? Yeah. So, yeah, you have a chance to choose what you want to read.
Good. Let me add to that, right? Let me add to Calypso, right? Your name is? Right. Okay. So I think when I'm kind of, so when you said some texts, I mean, did you mean like in terms of, so what do you mean by texts? I'm just kind of curious in the sense, so for example, do you mean that are we going to read newspaper articles, or are we going to read, you know, things like that? Not necessarily, right? Okay. But I may actually kind of give you things to read in English which have to do with approaches to literature. Okay, fine. Approaches to literature in terms of analysis, in terms of certain theoretical material about how we read and why we read, or why is literature useful, important, etc. Right? So I will give you some material to read on the side, right? Yeah, okay. So I will give you some material on the side in terms of, say, criticism or theoretical material which you will have to read, and then you can apply it to your own language. Okay, make sense? Good. Okay. So let's. I mean, so I have a question. So we got another 10 minutes, right? So I have a question. I have a question for everybody over here, right? Very quickly. What is it that brings you to literature, right? And at this moment of time, it's just literature in the sense in your own languages or in a language like English. Why is it that literature interests you? Anybody? Should I type it out? Nobody?
Okay, I can.
Yeah, Dima. Yeah, go ahead.
If I can say something.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. A little
Okay.
broken, but I can hear you.
Okay, so we have reading journal in our self-taught course, and this reading journal is just see a really good help for you to remember what you're reading and reflect on what you're reading. So, and on this journal, you have many questions on. I would say, okay, the main question were really the global issue. And I would say that it's the part why I like literature, because you can really see the problems that the author reflects on. And I would say that you can understand the world through these pieces of text, and you can see many aspects of living, and it's something that they enjoy in the course and in literature.
Okay. Good. So let's do something for the next 10 minutes, right? Very quickly. So I'm going to kind of put up a poem in English, right? It's a very short poem. It's a very small poem, right? And it's not a very. It doesn't look very difficult when you read it for the first time, right? But it kind of connects to what Dima said in the sense. I'm going to kind of try and show you in about 10 minutes what it means to read deeply or read closely or to do a kind of a literary analysis, right? I mean, I'll ask you questions about it, right? And you can chip in, right? And I will tell you how a critic, right, or how interpretation works, right? So I'm going to kind of share the screen very quickly, right? Hi, Lilith.
Hello.
Hi. So I was actually going to kind of show them a little poem, but I mean, do you want to share something with the group?
Yeah, I just finished the Armenian literature one. That's why I joined
Okay.
Solvit.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, maybe just I don't know. I will. I don't know what you told them. Sorry, that's why.
So
they
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so we just gave them an introduction to it, and also we kind of so Dima is also here, so we kind of spoke about how it works, and but just in terms of being everybody, so Lilith is the other teacher who actually is doing the SSST courses, right? So both of us are going to be doing the courses. So I mean, can you just kind of maybe let's abandon the mini lesson and let's just kind of listen to you for like a few minutes. Okay, I mean, just in terms of like, what has been your experience teaching this class last year? Right?
Yeah, I've started actually to do so, like be certified coordinator, do it since the beginning. And at that time, we only had one student, and the next year we had 2 students, and then the students got more and more interested in their native languages. And I really like this course because it gives the students opportunity to discover their own language and culture, which I think is really essential if you want to learn new cultures. You first of all should understand your own language, your own culture, and literature, and that literature will give you that kind of tool to do that. And second, it's a really interesting course in terms of checking if you can do that, be that self-organized. If you can't do that, it's not an easy course though, but from my experience I can tell that having a coordinator, and if you work close with your coordinator and keep the track of, for example, whatever the coordinator asks you to do, it will really help you to do the work individually. You can ask maybe the second year student. We already have finished 5 books out of 9, and we're going to do the 3 this term. So yeah, it's from my side, I would say, even if I don't understand many languages, your own languages, but talking to you about your own literature and books gives me really, I don't know, pleasure, kind of. Yes, that's from my side. I don't know if there will be questions.
So, any questions for Lilith? Lilith has been teaching this for a very long time, right? So, any questions for her? Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I had one question which one of the students brought up, right? So one is, so can the students kind of get help from family, friends, and old teachers to kind of select books and get recommendations, and then look for them in the IB literature guide?
Why? I think they can get the help. But very important though that the same language students should have the same books. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fine. So So that's the other thing, right? So if you have 3 students studying the same language, you will be studying the same books.
Yeah, it's important. But you can get help from your friends, family. Yeah, but then checking if that books exist in the IB provided list. If they exist, then I don't see any. We don't see.
Right. So again, it's like, I think the way you'll kind of work in this program is that if you have a group of students doing the same language, then you'll be working together. Right? Yeah. So there will be a lot of opportunity to kind of be working as a peer group. Okay, fine, helping each other understand, figure out what is happening with these works, right? Any other questions? We have 4 more minutes, right? I think we'll kind of do the lesson when we.
Can I intervene for a second? I see here some Armenians participating in this session. Just a clarification, we offer Armenian literature course, in our school. And if you are interested in doing your own literature, then you should choose the Armenian literature course and not the self-taught course, because it's the same. I mean, either you are self-study your Armenian, or if the course is offered in the school, the student cannot do self-taught unless they are less students than 5. Okay, just for you, the Armenian students, if you are interested. Okay.
Okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we want choose English Armenian literature as one of our subjects, then we won't get a bilingual diploma, right?
You will get a bilingual diploma, definitely.
And doesn't matter will I choose Armenian language as one of my subjects or not?
If you choose Armenian as one of your subjects, you will get bilingual diploma. If you write your extended essay in Armenian, you will have a bilingual diploma. These are the 2 requirements for bilingual diplomas.
Okay. So even if I choose Armenian as my one of subjects, it isn't enough for getting bilingual diploma.
It is enough. It is enough. Either you choose Armenian or you write your EE in Armenian.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any more questions? All good? Everybody gets what it means to do the SSST course? Okay. So let's stop here, and hopefully we'll see all of you in class, right? In a week's time. Thank you, Lilith, and thanks, Dima. So totally useful. And if you have any questions, if you have any specific questions, you can email me, or you can email Lilith also, right? Just email or even email Dima, right? So Dima will put you in touch with everybody else from DP2, right? Okay. So Dima is like the viral Dima, right? Okay. So get in touch with Dima if you want like student help, right? Get in touch with Lilith or me if you want to talk to the teachers, right? And if we can't answer your questions, we'll find the answer and give it to you. Okay, fine. Questions? No? Yes? I mean, this is still surreal. I mean, teaching online is still surreal. Okay.
I think the same.
But we'll figure it out. Okay. Okay. So let's sign up, time out, right? And let's meet each other in a week's time in the classroom or in the corridors, etc. Right? Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.